Hey, welcome back to the Banana Viking server. I am Van Velding, and as you can see, I've done, well, I guess you can see today. So this looks, hey, what's up? This looks very different from what you may have seen. If there was any video for the last video, which, rookie mistake. So this is my new home base, and you can see outside and you can look at it. That's going to be a walkway over to here. Otherwise, I think it turned out okay. This thing turns a corner and has another lantern on it. This will not, because there needs to be a gap here. So here is what I'm gonna do. Alright. I'm just going to get some more spruce. You know what? Fuck it. I'm going to get a bed. I'm going to get a bed first. And then I'm going to get more spruce. And today I'm going to actually talk about something. I'm going to talk about Slay the Spire, a game that I really, really like. You know, it's quick. It's elegant. It reminds me in a lot of ways of Star Realms. Star Realms is also deck building. Slay the Spire is deck building. Star Realms works because it's a versus game. So your opposition is your other players. Inherently two players. They do have some single player games where they bolt on some logic for an enemy. They have cards that are just for enemies. And they say, hey, look, we're going to use regular cards. We're going to use them in a very broad way. And you're going to fight them that way. And that works fine. It just says, hey, you know, I progress a certain way. I eat cards a certain way. I have ever so much amount of health. And then I'm going to do something with the buying line of cards that are laid out. And, you know, if it's blue or white or green or red, you know, I'll do something different depending on whatever. I don't think I got that last one. And that's a great system to play. And it's a great system to play solo. Slay the Spire has a lot more versatility in cards. It plays more linearly in a lot of ways. And every enemy is, I don't want to say unique, but there's a lot more crafting. There's a lot of fine crafting. And I sometimes think some behind the scenes number nudging. Either that or it's just insanely well designed. Developers of Slay the Spire, if you are listening to this and you did not program it to fudge the numbers in the RNG, it is an insanely well designed game. I beat the final boss last night with 6 life left. I've beat that guy twice. That was the second time I did it. And to do it so closely after it's so difficult is just a great balance of a bunch of random cards, random enemy encounters, random relic encounters. It's just exceptional work. So I admire the heck out of Slay the Spire. It's a fun game. Again, I've only won it twice. I've played it about 20 times. I just can't say enough nice things about it. So I also play Magic the Gathering. And Magic the Gathering is such an affair in comparison or when compared to these games. I like the versatility of it. I like that you have thousands of cards that you can work with. I like the open meta of it. One of the things, I listened to the lead developer, Mark Rosewater, and he talks about how one of the things, lead designer, and he's been at this job for 20 odd years. One of the things that he says is that complexity creep is an issue in terms of how complex the cards get. And also that one of the things they're always trying to do with the rules is they're trying to cut down on the complexity of the base rules. For example, they used to have mana burn, where if you had extra mana in your mana pool at the end of turn, bam, it would actually deal damage to you. It's a bad thing. One of the knobs you have to turn in the game is controlling your mana base. There's actually a card with that built in as a flaw where its cumulative upkeep cost is that it would add mana to your mana pool, and therefore it would add more mana each and every turn until eventually it gave you mana burn. Fascinating card, work based on the rules, pretty cool. I don't know why it doesn't see commander play, because now there's literally no downside to that upkeep cost. It just keeps giving you money to cast cards with. It's great. So I would like an elegant cut down Slay the Spire experience from Magic the Gathering. The problem is that Magic has five colored archetypes. White, blue, black. God damn it. God damn it, being the most powerful and versatile of Magic colors. It works in a lot of situations. Right. And Slay the Spire, that is analogous to the characters from Slay the Spire. The Ironclad, the Silent, and I think the Defect. The Ironclad is very much based around force, minimum defense. The Silent is based heavily around defense and poison. And the Defect is just, I don't know. I'm actually just telling you the strategies I use to beat the games with those guys. So I beat it once with the Ironclad. I used a lot of strength. I used Reaper. Take Reaper. If you take nothing else away from this entire YouTube channel, when you're playing Slay the Spire as the Ironclad or fucking anyone else, take Reaper. I have gone from like 10 health to full health with a good Reaper swing. It's just, god damn it. I was out here minding my own fucking business. They do that creepy thing where they lock onto you but they don't attack. It's weird. Oh man. You're just making this real creepy now, dude. There's no need for this. There's no need for this fucking, I don't know, deer hunter shit. Like, fucking hell. God damn. I don't think that's all of them. Fucking making me go Rambo on these motherfuckers. Shit. It's gotta be a patrol. It couldn't just be a random spawn. If there's a patrol, and I've wasted arrows on them already. No offense, I'm not going anywhere till I waste some arrows on their leader. Pig! Pig! Where did they go? Talk. Come on. We don't say squeal like a pig for no reason. Lead me to the pillagers. Or you're just being insanely calm about all of this. Damn it. You can't be trusted, pig. Oh, man. What a douche canoe. Pigs, man. You can't trust them. Regardless, where's it going with that? Oh yeah, so you got they got different strategies, and those are just the strategies I used to beat them. Although I guess I didn't use poison so much for the Silent. I just used lots of caltrops. Lots and lots of caltrops. That snail motherfucker killed himself in the caltrops. Anyway, this isn't about how Van Velding's played Slay the Spire before. Each one has different cards and different strategies, and that's how they beat Slay the Spire. So not only are those enemies balanced against one playstyle, they're balanced against 3 playstyles. It's fantastic stuff. And the Magic the Gathering also has 5 playstyles, but they are wildly more diverse. Every Slay the Spire playstyle starts with fucking cows. Starts with, like, I want to say 4 attacks, a super attack, and then I want to say 5 defenses. Or maybe it's 5 attacks, and then, it doesn't matter. They all start with basic things. They can block and they attack. And the options they have available to expand those options are what makes each character distinct. Except for their starting relics. I once wrote a post about the fundamentals of role-playing games and using D&D as an archetype. And there is random cool reinforcement and there is controlled reinforcement. Controlled reinforcement, controlled rewards are basically gold pieces. You get gold, and that means you can go into a village and you can buy whatever you need to fucking do more adventuring. You get to choose what it is. You have the entire shop list of items in D&D, and you can choose one to expand upon. Loot, you just find at random, but it tends to be a little more powerful, a little more swingy. And that's random reinforcement, and then, which is the looting, and then there's the gold, which is kind of a selective, flexible reinforcement. And then finally there's leveling, which is a consistent reinforcement, where this is something that you consistently get, you work towards it, you know it's coming, and those different reward tiers allow the game to work for multiple players. And I don't know if it's a testament to me or Slay the Spire, but Slay the Spire has those. It has money, which you can use at shops to buy potions, to buy relics, and to buy additional cards. Whenever you complete... I haven't become lost, have I? I've become a little disoriented. That's the west, so I need to head southeast. And they also sometimes give you potions at random, and whenever you beat an enemy, there are different types of rooms, but shops are one type of room, treasure chests are another types of rooms that give you relics, and then there are bosses, there are elites, there are enemies, and then there are bosses. And when you fight a boss, you get to choose from 3 relics. When you fight an enemy, you get to choose from 3 cards. And when you fight an elite, you get just a relic, whatever you get. So relics are very powerful. They give you a static effect. And they cost a lot of money. If I have to push a fucking trader out of the way... Cards are what you use to build your deck with. So they're pretty great. And potions are one-time use things that give you a lot of versatility. And these are all great. Your cards are designed to give you a more consistent... Oh, right, yeah. I don't live here anymore. Yeah, I should go to my house. The cards are designed to give you consistent abilities. The potions give you a one-time kind of make up for the heart of the cards not being the heart of the cards free card. And that just sounded gross, dude. Yeah, all I'm doing today is this tree stuff. And the money's kind of flexible and it lets you modify. And they also have mystery rooms which kind of just do whatever. They're kind of the role-playing element of it. But that doesn't matter so much. Right. Magic doesn't have any kind of a tier system like that. You build your deck. You fucking play your deck. Like, it's that simple. Sometimes you play it with a draft, and I think that's probably the way to look at adapting the quick tightness of Slay the Spire to Magic the Gathering. Now, if you were to cut Magic the Gathering down to just a couple of cards, I think you could make a Slay the Spire type game with it. But to give the versatility of Magic, I guess, there are a lot of challenges. One, the colors, which I already went over. Like, every color strategy is very specific, and even within that color, you can have different, very specific strategies. In addition, Magic gameplay is built around mana, which is based around playing a permanent, and you get stronger every turn that way. Whereas Slay the Spire has that mechanic in that there are some cards which give you ongoing repetitive effects. Some cards just say, hey, from now on, once you play me, they're called powers, everything, at the beginning of every turn, a guy gets poisoned. And then later you have Catalyst, which is a skill which doubles someone's poison. And that's how you get stronger in Slay the Spire, because a lot of it's done with the cards. Except for the stuff that's done with the relics, which is just a static effect that makes you better. Potions, one time. Relics, static effect. Cards are cards. And money is kind of a good all-rounder. It even lets you take cards out of your deck. Money as a versatile currency is very important. That might even be the definition of currency. Regardless, I think you could do it with Magic, though. It would take a lot of work, but you could do it. Again, the goal isn't to just make Slay the Spire with Magic cards. It is to say, hey, look, here are some Magic cards. Let's play something that's as tight and rewarding as Slay the Spire. The problem with that is that the enemies in Slay the Spire just can't be RNG'd up. You would have to craft each and every one of them, which is, God, just time consuming. And it's not really streamlined in the way that we would want Magic to be streamlined. Magic has organic challenge in the form of other players. It is the original. We didn't want to code AI for this, so we made other people play it, and that's obviously great. Slay the Spire couldn't really do that, I think, because you'd have a lot of players just throwing cards at each other, you know. And for as tight a game as it is very situational. It tells a story. It has that organic storytelling component that Magic really wants to have, but absolutely cannot because of how it is built. And you could add that component, and you can make enemy decks, and I think that would be like really cool. And you could probably go down that hole. And then whenever someone else would want to play it, they would have to like recreate those enemy decks and print out the little, like, either get the Magic cards that are in it or print out whatever kind of like pretend cards you've made up for each and every deck, like 5 or 6 cards per enemy, and then play it differently and remember all the little rules for it. I think that would be bad. Ultimately, you would have to pull from some sort of interlocking Magic set. You can't just take, say, all of the white cards from Modern 20, whatever, and just say, okay, that's your lot. Those are your cards. Because duplicating cards is... There's a place. There, see, there you go. I left that right there just for me. Because having multiple cards is important. I mean, maybe it's not. Maybe you could just say, hey, look, we're going to duplicate the commons a lot. We're going to duplicate the uncommons a little bit, and we're not going to duplicate the rares at all. And then that's your pull list for white. And I would be interested to see how that turns out. That might be good enough. I would say if you wanted to hedge your bets, I would suggest making 3 pools just like you would for a cube. And basic, advanced, and elite. And so your rewards are money. And every money card has money on the back, what the exchange rate is, and then what you can trade it for. You can trade it for potions. I'm just going to use the motherfucking Slay the Spire words for it for the sake of simplicity. So, potions, relics, or new cards. And, there's an exchange rate, like 3 money for a basic draft, 6 money for an advanced draft, and 8 money for an elite draft, where you just pull cards from an elite pool, and where you pull X cards from that pool, and then you choose one of them put into your deck. For potions, you basically choose a card, and that is a 1-use card. And either you just have however many potions you have, or you have a limit like in Slay the Spire. You probably just have however many you have. Slay the Spire has a limit, so I naturally went with that, of like 3 potions, and I was thinking, oh, you just do a limit on converted mana cost. You can't win like 3 converted mana cost potion cards or whatever. I would counter that and just say however many you can afford, man. You paid for it. One of the things about Slay the Spire's relics is that they have non-combat effects, so they can just do whatever. For Magic stuff, we'd want it to have in-combat effects. So if we're not doing out-of-combat effects, then there's no reason. I'm saying this too stupidly. In Slay the Spire, you start with the ability to have 3 potions. You can get a relic that lets you hold 5 potions, and that's great. But since I don't care since there's no Magic card that's going to let you hold more potions, just however many you got. And they're just 1 use. They're 1 use, and you don't even spend mana on them. Or maybe you do. I don't know. And then finally, relics. And I'll be honest with you. I was just going to say, hey, look, it exists in your command zone as a relic, and whatever that static ability is, you get to keep. And there might be a relic cost associated with it related to converted mana cost, and it has to be in color maybe, etc., etc. So, and in that case, you would probably dig until you found something with a static ability, meaning that all of your cards have to have, not all of your cards, but a certain percentage of your cards have to have a static ability. And of course, if there's a cool static ability on a creature that has nothing to do with the creature's dealing damage or whatever, static, triggered, or activated abilities, then for you real deep down Magic nerds, then you would have that in your command zone, you couldn't attack with it, and you would just get the static ability all the time. Or maybe you would start with it in play, or it comes into play on whatever turn. I don't know. But the deal is that those could all be pulled from the 3 decks. Your cards, your potions, your relics, and then you just get money, and that's where you pull your draft packs from and your new cards. And so you've got those 3 tiers, those 3 qualities of decks, and you make a deck for each color, or you make a deck for each archetype, 3 decks for each color, and 3 decks for each archetype, or you just do it like a cube, where it's all 5 colors plus some artifacts, but each color has its own themes, just as a cube has its own themes, just as a set has its own themes. And, which just leaves the hardest part, which is the enemies. And I know I'm going long with this episode, but we're kind of in it now. And all I'm doing is chopping down trees. I don't think you're missing a lot. I need to get the broad shot on this, like the before and after. Because I'm just breaking the world if I don't get a broad shot. Right, so the enemies. And honestly, I can't think of any way around it. The enemies are enemies, you draft it, and oh man, look at that clear it. One of the things on my to-do list, if you'll remember, is the wall. I gotta fix the wall. And I gotta take these motherfuckers down. And I think each enemy just has to have like their own set of rules, their own HP, how many cards they get, whether you draft with it, do they do extra damage, or somehow they have to self-organize a set of cards or make whatever cards they pull work. Just like I was talking about how the dudes in Star Realms, right? They have the automated cards because this is definitely the Star Realms enemy card idea. You would just need like 20 of these, which is the real pain in the ass. Because then you're doing everything on the fly. You're adjusting money amounts, and you're adjusting how that works, and how much money gets you 15 card pull versus a 10 card pull versus a 20 card pull. And then so you're balancing all that shit. You're playing a mini game of Magic with a tuned set of 3 decks of tiered power. And then and then finally, you have to say, oh yeah, this enemy does this and this and that and that, and on turn whatever, the enemy does this. And sadly, there's no surprise. I know there's surprise is a big part of the exploration of Slay the Spire. To the point where you go, at first you're like, oh, what's this guy going to do next? Oh, what's this guy going to do next? And maybe there could be a system where you put a card on top of it and then you reveal it for each turn, so the enemy does something different on the turn. And that way you don't know what. You just see a new enemy. You put it and you pull a little card down to your on step 1. Oh yeah, right. I brought this for a reason. But I think that's the way to do it, where it's magic cards, and then weird little money mechanics that translate money into rewards. And then finally, there are the enemies. And the enemies are the real heartbreaker. Because you need a good diversity of them, a good scaling difficulty of them. You could even maybe fan some of them out and say, hey, look, these are your options, just like in Slay the Spire, how it lets you kind of choose what room you're going to go into. You can say, hey, look, there's an enemy here. Or, this is just a shop, or this is just a repair thing. I think I was doing pretty good on the ums in this video up until that point. I'm gonna listen in editing and realize how stupid saying that sounds, because there's always so many more ums than I think there is. However, I think it would be worth doing. I think it would be a fun little project. I think people like making cubes. I think that a Slay the Spire tiered themed multicolor sequential mini cubes would be something that people would like. And I think, you could improve the experience by even eliminating a color and just saying, well, we don't have that entire wheel to focus on anymore. So that's just going to be boss for us. And of course, someone would eventually say, I want to do multiplayer. And I think, one, that's incredibly exhausting, but two, it would be incredibly flattering to get to the point where someone's like, I want to do this with my friends now. Because, I mean, if you're making something that's supposed to be fun and people are like, I want to do this with my friends, you almost feel the temptation to stop the mocking stupid voice, but you don't. All right, I've got, I got some freaking spruce now. Some spruce for gooses. So I think I really like what I did here, where I needed to break up the texture of the wall, and I just did oak, and then I used the much hated barkless log, not oak, spruce. I like that. I kind of want more adornment up here. I might just go back and do the same thing with the logs, but that is it. That is it for today. Later.